All right, everyone, we are live. Yes, we're doing a tier list as a live stream. This is my first time ever doing a tier list as a live stream. I just felt like changing it up a bit. Let's do a tier list as a live stream rather than a video, because I feel like on a live stream you can go into more details about like what you want to talk about the game and all that type of stuff. Like I've done tier lists in the past. That were like when I did my Elder Scrolls tier list, I did it over an hour long, and people were complaining like, "Why is it an hour long? Where you're ranking all the Elder Scroll games?" I'm like, bruh, each of those games have got like 50 hours plus of content in them, and I kind of have to go a little bit into details of each aspect of the game. Like I like to give a massive explanation, pretty much why I put the game there. It's just the way I do tier lists. Also, there's a couple of reasons why I'm doing this as a live stream as well over a video. One, Twitch can view this. Yeah, Twitch chat can view this as well as YouTube chat. So obviously more people probably watch this as a video than a live stream on YouTube. I expect that's kind of normal the way it is. But I don't know, I just felt like changing up a bit. So if you just want to watch me talking about the tier list, my best bet is skip probably between like 2 to 5 minutes into the stream, and I'll start actually talking about the games individually. So yeah, we're going to be ranking all of the Hitman games. And I just realized something. Fucked up the title. That's what happens when you do it as a live stream, man. That's the fun part about doing it as a live stream, man. Like you can make a mistake, but you just got to deal with like a video. What I'll do is see if I'm making a tier list and I make a slight mistake in a tier list in a video, I'll let it be fucking edit the edit, and I'm like, ah, fuck. That's the difference between doing it live than a video. Funny, man. You know what? I'll put the title on it, put it rank all the Hitman games live in 2025 live. Oh, that's fucking hilarious, man. That's hilarious. Well, I normally don't make mistakes like that, but I figured it's a tier list. I'm gonna make a stupid mistake like that. I always do. Seem to when I make tier lists. So yeah, we're ranking all the Hitman games. So I've got a full playlist. Pretty much, I did a full playthrough of every single Hitman game. Towards the end of last year, we started doing a play because it won the community poll, and I said, you know what? Let's do a playthrough of every single fucking Hitman game. And we literally did it. The only Hitman game I didn't do was the original Codename 47. I'm going to be completely honest, Codename 47. The game is dated. You can't play the game like on any emulation or anything like that because I never had a console port. Never got part of the HD collection, which was really a disappointment. It's really dated. You can make it playable, but then you got a problem with the text size and all that. And if you're playing like on a 4K or a 1440p monitor, you've got a bit of a problem trying to fix the size, the text size, and the HUD elements and all that shit. And I couldn't find any fucking video online that explained how to make the HUD elements bigger and higher resolutions. Like I couldn't find anything whatsoever. I'm sure there's probably some guide out there, but and it's really dated and all that type of stuff. But anyway, we may as well talk about the first Hitman game. So these are all the mainline Hitman games. Forgot to mention that. We're not going to be ranking like the sniper Hitman game or whatever it is, like the mobile game. Or some of the like phone mobile Hitman games. But anyway, let's start the original Hitman game. So I kind of explained it already why Agent 47. So let's talk about the original Hitman game. So I'm going to be honest, the original Hitman game from the year 2000, or was it 1990? I think it was 2000. The original Hitman game, I'm going to be completely honest with you, it's aged absolutely fucking poorly and it is an absolute brutal game. So the thing is with the original Hitman game is the original Hitman game was made as a shooter first, and it wasn't until late into development they decided to make the original Hitman game into a stealth game. So that's why the stealth is so bad in the original Hitman game. To be honest, the stealth doesn't really get good, absolutely amazing in the Hitman games until I would say arguably Hitman Blood Money, just because of the way the stealth system works in the original Hitman games. But the Codename 47, it's the way it's made. You have to play the missions in a certain play style as well. Also, this game is fucking brutal. The original Hitman game also as well has no checkpoints. There's no way to save in between missions. Like, you can't save at all. So if you die, you got to do the whole missions from the start. In the original Hitman game, a lot of the missions are extremely long missions. For example, like that jungle mission. That's like a reference of the Scarface movie. That mission is absolutely fucking horrible. It takes like an hour long. Pretty much, and it's an absolute slogfish. It's not the worst mission in the game. I would say the worst mission is probably the train yard mission, with the nuclear bomb and all that type of stuff. It has a lot of really bad missions, the original Hitman game, and since there's no way to save, you can't save. It's absolutely brutal, and That does have some cool features, like you can like buy upgrades and all that between missions. I think is really really cool, and very few Hitman games do that where you can actually like get upgrades. And it's the only Hitman game that you actually can buy body armor. Weirdly enough, but you get attacked by there's dogs. There's attack dogs. It's the only Hitman game that has attack dogs in it, and they go right for your body armor. So I'm going to put it in D. I'll explain a little bit more of it why I'm putting it in D as well. I just think it's mainly the fact that it's just aged absolutely poorly. There's a lot of mechanics in the game that barely get used, like the climbing and the parkour mechanic. The story is all right. I mean, Hitman stories are not really the best stories, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like that Dr. Matt, the guy that raised you up and all that type of stuff. And it's interesting. I mean, the new Hitman trilogy, they do a lot better job of actually explaining, I would say, the original Hitman game, weirdly enough. In a way, because it's like when you join the ICA and all that. Like, this was... You join the ICA, I think, before your brain gets wiped, or do you join the ICA after your brain gets wiped? I think it's after your brain gets wiped, which is 1999. It's... The plot's pretty much over the place, but it's like a shadow client, pretty much what every Hitman game... Not every Hitman game, but a lot of Hitman games are like. So, yeah, I think D's have good position. I just think it's aged absolutely poorly. There's not really any way to play it properly on modern computers. Like, you have to download a bunch of mods to add, like, a widescreen patch. Then it doesn't work with fucking controller. Because there's some PC players that like to play with controller. I know that. Obviously, you can get it to work Steam and all that type of stuff. There's some way to do that. But the resolution's fucked. You can't play it on console because it never had a console port. It never became part of the HG collection. So there's not really an official way a good way to play the original Hitman game. But anyway, let's move on to Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. So Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, it's not like just a massive improvement over the first game. Like, it's absolutely crazy how much of an improvement it is. And the simplest improvement they made ever in the game was you could save. Assuming you're not playing on professional, if you're playing on normal or expert, which, to be honest, when it comes to the old Hitman games, I actually don't recommend you play on the highest difficulty until you know what the fuck you're doing. To be honest, I kind of recommend that for every single Hitman game. I recommend you don't play it on the highest difficulty. Like, I'm not a Hitman expert, and I'm not a Hitman pro, so I just played like some of the older Hitman games like on normal difficulty just because I'm not a master at the games and I'm not a master of Silent Assassin. Also, I forgot to mention that the first Hitman game doesn't have any like ratings or anything like that, so you don't know if you get a Silent Assassin or not. It's just the way it is. But this game introduced like ratings, like you got Stalker, Silent Assassin, you got Clumsy, kill everybody, execute everyone. You got like a bar between, you can see like between stealth and aggressiveness, but you can still actually get a good rating even if you have a super high aggressiveness, which is kind of interesting about the old Hitman games, is you can still get a good rating even if you kill everybody stealthy. But in the new Hitman games you get quite a bad rating even if you kill everybody stealthily. It's kind of weird if you wanted to do that type of playthrough. But what is as well, the Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, it was the first Hitman game on console, so they made the maps a little bit more smaller, but they're still really big maps. Now, the problem with Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, this is also a problem with Hitman Contracts, is you can't run. If you run when you're wearing a disguise, or you're in a restricted area at all, the guards start shooting you. Literally. The guards start shooting you, and the movement speed's pretty fucking slow. Like, really slow movement speed when it comes to it. But I would say the story's more interesting. Get introduced to Diana, and that she actually speaks. This is also the only Hitman game Agent 47 actually retires at the end of the first Hitman game, so it's kind of interesting to see another world where Agent 47 would have not became a Hitman. It would have just quit Hitman, being a Hitman, and would have just retired and just enjoyed the rest of his life. But that never happened. But it's just so much of an improvement. It's unbelievably how much of an improvement Silent Assassin is over Codename 47. Even though some of the mechanics are dated, as I said, like you can't run and all that type of stuff. But you can get more gunfights. It's a bit more comfortable. There's no way to heal yourself, sadly, in battle, but that's the way it is. The dialogue, some of the dialogue is funny as well. It's got so many more places it's set as well. I forgot to mention that, like, the original Hitman games mostly just set in China. For the majority of the campaign, it's just set in China, but Hitman 2 Silent Assassin changes it up a bit. I would say the most brutal mission probably in Hitman 2 Silent Assassin would be the Snowy Mountain missions. Those missions are just brilliant. It's like massive snow everywhere, and you got like snipers you got to worry about. You can't trigger any alarms. You got to pretty much do them pretty stealthy. Luckily, everybody's carrying a suppressed weapon, so it's not too bad. But it's a really long mission, then it goes to like another section. Then you've got the iconic St. Petersburg's mission, which they bring back like multiple times, but you do it different. Like the first one, you have got to snipe someone. Then you get like in the next general, like in a park. Then the next one, you got to go and rescue someone. Then you got to snipe someone else. Then you got like Agent 48, which you got to kill and all that. Pretty much Shade Pretty Birds is a big bit. But then you got other settings like India and all that. And I would also got to say about Hitman 2 Silent Assassin is the music. There's something that the new Hitman games, which I'll talk more about when I get to them, but there's something about the old Hitman games, the music. It's like music is art in a way. Like the original Halo trilogy did music so good. And music does matter to a point of view. I know some people might like, oh, I don't listen to music whatsoever in a game, which I get that if you don't put the music on in a game whatsoever, but it's like do like when you get in combat and all that. It's pretty interesting, and also everybody actually talks their proper language, something that the new Hitman trilogy is really lacking, which I'll bring up when we get to them. But I'm definitely going to put this in A. It's a massive improvement over the first game. It's unbelievably what they managed to do when it comes to Hitman 2. It's really an impressive game, especially for its time. For a 2002 game, they just advanced so much. It's unbelievable. It doesn't have the best control scheme, I will be honest, but pretty decent. And if you're going to play this game, I recommend you play the HD collection or you play it on an emulator. If you're on PC, the games run quite well on RCPC. It's free, and they probably run quite well on the Insignia as well if you're a PC player. You want to upscale the resolution. Of course, you can play the native PC version, but you got a lot of bugs. I will mention that Hitman 2 actually does have a lot of bugs. Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, like NPCs don't sit on the air or something like that. It's really funny in a way, but it's a good fun way. Like there's two really buggy games that I absolutely love as well, like Halo 2 and the original Modern Warfare 2 from 2009. Like they were just so buggy, but I think they've got a good type of bugginess in the way. There's like games that do bugs really, really badly, and then there's games that do bugs really, really good. And I think that's what Hitman Silent Assassin does. It's kind of weird. It's not like any game breaking bugs. It's just funny. And also every NPC speaks a foreign language, which something's like. Next is Hitman Contracts, the most darkest Hitman game. Easily the most darkest Hitman game. So Hitman Contracts is an interesting type of game. So the first half of the game has all of its original missions, which is really cool. But then the second half of the game are just pretty much remakes of the original Hitman game. And I'm going to be completely honest. I would say about one of the remake missions is actually a massive improvement, and that's probably that mission where you got to do that stupid trade deal, and it comes to that nuclear bomb and that ship thing. It's a lot easier in Contracts, like extremely easier on Contracts compared to the original Hitman game. I also got to mention the map, and that kind of sucks, but then the big map as well, which is really cool in Contracts 2 Silent Assassin. Forgot to mention that. But the story is more of a Agent 47 gets shot. And he's pretty much recovering inside this house, and he's talking about his past events and all that he did in the older Hitman games. And the original missions are really cool, though. Like the snowy mission, I really enjoyed. I forgot to mention that as well. The one of the original Hitman missions, probably the best Hitman mission for Codename 47. They also remade that mission as well, but you don't have access to a map and that, so it's a bit easier to traverse on all that type of stuff. But Hitman Contracts did improve actually a couple of things from Hitman 2. Like they improved the movement speed. They made the fiber wire actually feel a bit more useful compared to Hitman 2 in the original Hitman game. Like the fiber wire was kind of inconsistent because NPCs could walk faster than you could crouch, or you could walk when you were walking. NPCs would actually walk faster than the player, so it made it really annoying to use the fiber wire. The Contracts improved that. Also, Hitman Contracts introduced the iconic weapon wheel, which we know and love from the Hitman games, which makes it easier to switch between weapons and all that type of stuff. But overall, I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about Contracts. It's a very dark Hitman game, and I do recommend you play it and complete it. I actually completed it for my first time ever when I did this playthrough on the channel. This was actually the first time ever I completed Hitman Contracts. Like I played it back in the day, but I never actually completed it, and I think it's a good Hitman game. It's just some of the remake missions I think are a bit generic. It's a bit boring. I wish they would have changed them up a wee bit, like the Chinese missions and all that they brought back from the original Hitman game. But the first half of the game is absolutely freaking amazing. I would just say the second half is just not as good as the first half. So overall, I would say Hitman 2 Silent Assassin is a better game than Hitman Contracts. But Hitman Contracts is still an absolutely great game, and I do recommend you play it. I heard it has a lot of issues on PC though, so your probably best bet is to play it on a console, or an emulator. It is part of the HD collection, so You can play it at least on backwards compatibility on Xbox. What I kind of found it interesting is they never actually. I thought they brought out a HD enhanced edition for like the PlayStation 4 and 5. No, they never did. So if you're on PlayStation, you can't really play the old Hitman games before Blood Money because they never brought out a newer version of those. Or like an upscale version, you think they would have, but they didn't bother. Which is really, really strange. Alright, next is Hitman Blood Money. Think about Hitman 2 and think about all the old Hitman games and think of Hitman Blood Money. Hitman Blood Money literally just improved pretty much the few issues that Hitman 2 and Silent Assassin had. Like, you'd actually run in Hitman Blood Money and not everybody would start shooting you. It introduced so more new mechanics like the paper system and that, which was really cool. It's the only Hitman game that has this newspaper system that says like mass murder or silent assassin or stalker or something like that. It's really cool. You get like a newspaper talking about what happened and how the hit happened and all that. It's really, really cool and it's really sick. No Hitman game apart from Hitman Blood Money has done it. They also brought back from the original Hitman game and Hitman Blood Money like the upgrade system and all that you can do between missions. Like the further you get in the game, the more upgrades you get, so you can like bring in a health dose thing to heal you, like a painkiller thing to heal you. You can bring your own custom weapons. You've got money. You can pretty much bring whatever you want, but you have to pay for them. Something that the new Hitman games I think are kind of lacking is Hitman Blood Money did it so good. Like you have to like buy the upgrades and all that. You don't just get them automatically. I know the new Hitman games you don't get them automatically. It's based on mastery, but based on mastery for each level. But still, you still get it for free. But Hitman Blood Money, you had to spend your money on the upgrades. So the money economy and all that was really, really a cool mechanic for a 2006 game. This game was so impressive and it's aged extremely well. Like it's so good. Like it's quite a short Hitman game. I will be honest. All the Hitman games are quite short. I would actually say the first two Hitman games are the longest Hitman games because of just how freaking brutal they are on difficulty, and compared to some of the newer Hitman games. But Hitman Blood Money is a masterpiece. Like, I played Hitman Blood Money back in the day as a kid. I really enjoyed it. But I don't know what you would call this. I don't know what the wording is for this. I know there's a word for nostalgia. You play as a game as a kid. You go back and you play it as an adult. And you love it as much as you used to as a kid. You think it's absolutely amazing. And people call it nostalgia, right? But I don't know what you'd call this. What do you call something that, like, that you played as a kid, you really liked as a kid, but you replay it as an adult? Like, so there's two things that can happen when you, like, redo something as an adult that you enjoyed as a kid. One, well, there's three options. Two, you just enjoy it the same as you used to. The second option is you hate it, you absolutely despise it, and you think, I think I appreciate that a bit too much. Then I think there's a third option, which I don't know what you would call this. Because it can't be called nostalgia, because I wouldn't call it nostalgia, because you like it better than you liked it as a kid. You enjoy it even more. You enjoy it even more than you did when you were like a young lad, or like a lass or whatever. So I don't know what the naming for that is, but I wouldn't call that nostalgia because you enjoy it more than you used to enjoy it. So I'm not entirely sure what you would call it, but I'm gonna add a new column here because I actually think Blood Money is such a great game. Honestly, chat, I'm adding a new column. Seriously, I think it's better than S tier. Seriously. Like, it's just, yeah, don't get me wrong, Hitman 2 Silent Assassin is a great game, Kashi. I think it's an absolutely amazing game. But some of the mechanics have aged badly, as I said earlier, like you can't run around, you can't do stuff like that. You move really, really slow when you're using the fiber wire and you're trying to kill people, which I explained in my Hitman 2 Silent Assassin playthrough. But I'm going to give Hitman Blood Money that now. I guess some old school fans probably don't like that. Like, if you're a massive hardcore fan of the old school Hitman games, you probably don't like Blood Money because Blood Money is a bit easier. I will admit that it is a lot easier than like Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, Hitman Codename 47, and Hitman Contracts. Like, it's less punishing. I do agree with that, especially if you're playing on pretty much any difficulty. It is easier overall because there's a lot more environment kills and all that type of stuff compared to the older Hitman games. Though I will say something, at least Hitman Blood Money doesn't go a bit overkill on their stuff. I don't know, maybe I would put Hitman 2 Silent Assassin in this. It's like the ultimate Hitman game I do have for nostalgia for. You know what? I'll get back to it. Since we're doing this live rather than a video, I will rethink over it again once we rank all the games. Next is Hitman Absolution. If you're a fan of Hitman Absolution, I'm happy. I'm glad you really enjoy that game. I'm glad you really enjoy it. It does. I will say some good things about Hitman Absolution before I absolutely stockpile on the game. Some of the modern mechanics we get in the new Hitman games, like you can hide multiple bodies. I know Hitman Blood Money introduced you could hide one body, and you could change the skies when the body was like dumping and all that type of stuff. And I will praise that for that. But let's talk about the bads of Hitman Absolution. First things first is the story. The story it's alright. It's an alright story. A lot of people absolutely hate Absolution's story, and I get why, because it's pretty much all over the place. But also it's the only Hitman game that's only set in America, which is really weird. It's only set in North America. Though I will give them some praise. They do like North Dakota, which I don't think I've ever played a video game that actually covers that state in America. It's always like Chicago or New York or like California or LA or something like that. Or maybe even Texas on a rare occasion. Never like North Dakota or South Dakota and all that. It's a really interesting setting to do in a game. I will admit that personally. But here's the problem with Hitman. Biggest problem with Hitman Absolution. Disguises don't work. Like, you have this stupid instinct bar. It goes down, right? And you have to do objectives to get it back up. Unless you're playing on easy difficulty. Playing on normal or above, there's this stupid instinct bar. So if you make any mistakes, pretty much everybody can see through your disguise, regardless. Like, at all times. It's just... Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while, Taylor. I've not seen you in quite a while. Yeah, I just decided to do a tier list live rather than this video. I usually do tier lists as videos, but I said, you know what, let's do it live for a change, because... One, because it's February. Two, my YouTube algorithm always collapses at this time of year. It just happens. I've been doing YouTube content for like 10 years. It's actually going to be 10 years in December. I've been doing YouTube, and the end of January, February is always the worst time of year for me, regardless. So that's why I decided to do this. And also, we did a playthrough recently of all the Hitman games, as you can see here, apart from the first Hitman game, which I explain it's just aged poorly. But anyway, Absolution. Like, everybody can see through your disguise. Now, I get that it's kind of somewhat realistic. Like, but you could be considered a new employee, somebody working new at the job, I suppose, as well. But, I mean, I'm going to have to put it at D. I think it's got some interesting mechanics. Like, some of the mechanics of the new Hitman games, Absolution did introduce, but it's... The problem with Hitman Absolution is no disguise works properly. The other problem is it's very linear. There's a lot of missions you don't actually kill anybody. You, like, travel to a new area, then you got to, like, escape the new area. Then you got to do that over and over and over again, like, several times in the game. It also makes Agent 47 extremely weak. And, like... Am I shadow banned? I don't know. Subscribe, I suppose. If you want me to subscribe, if you want me to show up, subscribe to the channel. And then again, notifications probably still don't work. I probably am shadow banned, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if I have been shadow banned. Because can you? Here's a general question: can YouTube shadow ban you by who you watch, like on the platform? Like, even if you don't talk any like controversial stuff on your stream, like if you watch like potentially controversial content creators, did that get you shadow banned? Does anybody actually know? Probably can. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, next is the new Hitman trilogy. So Hitman 2016. It's a great game. It brought back so much of the amazing mechanics of the original Hitman. They literally fixed everything of Hitman Absolution in Hitman 2016. It's completely unbelievable that they fixed all of the issues from the previous Hitman game. 4 years later, they needed that 4-year break, which is kind of crazy. There was a 6-year break between this and this game. But I thought, given that 4-year break, they rebooted the trilogy, redid it, and all that type of stuff. Really cool. They listened to the fan base, which I will be honest, a lot of companies don't listen to the fan base, so I'm going to give IO Interactive massive praise for that. Like, they listened to the fan base. Never played a Hitman game. Well, I don't know what to say, friend. So I'd say Hitman 2016. Is Hitman 2016 better than older Hitman games? Absolutely. I will say the one problem with the new Hitman games, this is my personal problem with the new Hitman games, is compared to the old Hitman games and their newer Hitman games, I feel like you can't start the mission off with enough items. Like, you can only start the mission like 4 items. Like in the old Hitman games, especially blood money in particular. You could start like a fiber wire, you could start like a coin, you could start with obviously your iconic pistols. You always get a smuggler item, of course, as well. You could do that. You get some way to heal you and all that as well. Obviously, they changed the heal system in the newer Hitman games. I think you were more limited in what you could carry in the newer Hitman games, and I feel like the new Hitman trilogy, as much as I love them, I think one big problem with them is they made fiber wire like so useless. I feel like fiber wire is completely useless in the new Hitman games, in my personal opinion. So I feel like I just use coins. Coins are completely broken though. But Hitman 2016, I think it's a great Hitman game. I think it's amazing. But it's just too short. It's really a short game, plus the plot doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, so when it came to the new Hitman trilogy, they were originally going to be like a chapter thing where like every couple of months they would bring out like a new episode, and that's how the original did them. So it's okay, you can interrupt all you want. I'm doing this live. I mean, people can debate all they want. I don't mind interruption. But what was I saying? So, yeah, Hitman 2016 had quite cool DLCs with Patient CEO, but I got to give one massive criticism to the new Hitman games, which I've not seen anybody bring up. Why do in the DLCs they reuse maps like from the base game? Like, I feel like they should have created new maps for the DLCs. But yeah, I'm personally going to give it the A tier. I think it's an absolute great game. It's great, but the story's a bit of a mess. That's kind of the biggest problem with the new Hitman trilogy. Next is Hitman 2. So this is Hitman 2 2018, not to be confused with Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. So Hitman 2, I feel like the budget got a little bit down when they made Hitman 2 because the cutscenes are like no longer CGI. They're just like a comic book cutscenes in a way, but it's kind of weird in that way. But the story gets explained a lot better in the new trilogy compared to the first game. I will admit that. Gameplay is pretty much improved. Feels a lot more smooth and all that type of stuff. There's also a bit more missions. They introduced DLCs that actually introduce new maps, like the New York bank map. What else? What else did they introduce? What was that island map? I forgot the name of it. Then you had the Ark Society map, and it was just pretty difficult map. Funny enough, Hitman 2 playthrough was a purely freaking playthrough. Freaking the weather was really bad during one of the streams, so that was kind of fun. I have a lot to say about Hitman 2. I would just say it's pretty much an improvement over Hitman 2016. Like, Hitman 2 2018 is just an improvement over Hitman. I will say something, the DLC is quite short. It only has like 4 missions that are special silence, and that's it. But I would say it's an improvement over Hitman 2016 in my personal opinion, even though because the DLCs obviously mix it up a bit, new maps, and it's kind of harder when it comes to me explaining the newer Hitman games because I've played the older Hitman games a lot more back in the day than I have the newer Hitman games recent. Next is Hitman 3. So when I did my playthrough for this Hitman game a month ago, not a month ago, we literally finished it off last Friday. No, last Wednesday actually, because last Friday we did because I got confused with the DLCs because the new Hitman trilogy actually messed up with the DLCs. But anyway, when it comes to Hitman 3, pretty much just improves more stuff, like they introduced the camera on it, which you can hack stuff on it. It's kind of hard to explain the new Hitman trilogy compared to the old Hitman games, because the new Hitman games all play pretty similar to each other. Though I will say one massive criticism of the new Hitman games is the lack of foreigners. Like, everybody in the new Hitman games speaks Australian, has an Australian accent, has a British accent, or has an American accent. Yeah. Like, what happened to the people that are speaking French, German, and Japanese, Chinese? Because some of the missions are like set in like different places in the world. So why does everybody have an American, British, and Australian accent? Which is funny enough. Weirdly enough, in Hitman 2 and the Indian mission in Hitman 2, they actually did get people that actually sounded Indian, weirdly enough, but when it comes to like the Japanese mission, everybody has an American and like British and Australian accent. It's really strange when it's like, did they just stop paying for actors, like different foreign actors and like foreign languages and all that when it comes to the new Hitman games? Because I feel like that'd be a more realistic environment. Like, if you're a Hitman and you go into a foreign country and you're trying to assassinate someone, and everybody, you feel like everybody was speaking a foreign language instead of speaking like English, you know? So it would make it like harder to assassinate the target because you would know what the frick they were saying. So I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of weird why they made everybody having an American accent or a British accent or Australian accent or even a Canadian in some cases. And then the Hitman trilogy, they don't speak like their own languages. It's really strange. But anyway, Hitman 3, a really short Hitman game. Strangely enough, I completed this Hitman game in one stream in like 4 hours. Definitely the shortest game of the new Hitman trilogy. The new Hitman trilogy. But I think it's really pretty good. I mean, it's kind of hard to judge because it's still getting updates. Like the Freelancer update, I think came out like last year. So it's kind of hard to give an accurate ranking for a game that potentially might be still get DLCs for years to come. But I would say it's an S tier game. It's just a bit short. That's probably the biggest criticism I have of it, and like the dialogue and all that type of stuff. So let's see if I would change any of these ratings. So Hitman, yeah, the original Hitman game, yeah, it's just aged poorly. I think that's the biggest problem with it, and they just never brought any way to like play it like on modern hardware or anything. That's probably the biggest problem. And I mean, if they remastered this game and gave it like modern resolution or made it playable on console as well for the console players out there, it made the control scheme a bit better, made it like a better stealth game. To be honest, the first Hitman game probably needs a remake more than a remaster, if I'm going to be completely honest. And when it comes to the other D tier Hitman game, Absolution, it's just the way it plays. It's just the way it plays. Like, stealth is practically not a thing in the game. And yet you still get super high ratings. The rating system works really weird. I forgot to bring that up in Hitman Absolution. It's like, if you knock anybody out, yeah, you lose points for knocking people out. Like, you lose XP for not killing them, knocking people out. You lose XP for that. You lose your score. Which makes no sense. Because you can get Silent Assassin if you don't kill anybody, but this game like punishes you for knocking anybody out apart from targets. It's a really weird system. Really strange system, but it's the way it is. Contracts, yeah, I agree. I think Contracts still belongs to the B. As I said earlier, it's the first half of the game is really good, but the second half of the game is pretty fucking rough, and I think that's the biggest problem with Hitman Contracts. It's just some of the remakes of some of the missions from this Hitman game. I think it's just pretty not lazy, but I would just say I know the Hitman Contracts wasn't made by the main development team that made them. Like, I don't even know who actually made Hitman Contracts. But I don't believe it was a real entire. I don't believe it was a real team that actually made it. Aye. Wait, they were the publisher. I think it's this. I think it's this. Yeah, I think it's publish or something like that with something. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see if it comes up with a different thing when I type in Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. No, it's published by the same people. I thought I had something that was made by a different team or something. Like, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was made by the main team. But anyway, yeah. Well, I'm not entirely sure. I ended up doing a tier list live and then it completed in like 30 minutes. That's funny. Silent Assassin. Kind of agree. I kind of agree. I think it might be an S tier Hitman game. Honestly. I mean, Hitman Silent Assassin, I do have a lot of nostalgia for Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, and I mean, the playthrough I did, I have some nostalgia for that playthrough we did a month ago for Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, but I mean, chat was really funny, but that was kind of around Christmas time, to be fair, so I think I'll just keep it there, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep it in A tier. Hitman 2016, yeah, I think this is a tier list. I've not made, I think I'm keeping it like this. Yeah, so that's going to be us, I think. Yeah, a bit different ranking than doing a tier list as a live stream. I normally do tier lists as videos, but I feel like when you do a tier list as a video, if you make like a single mistake, you say something wrong, I feel like you have to. Maybe that's just me, but when I do something as a video and you make like a spelling error or something like that, you're like, fuck, I gotta redo that. Compared to a live stream, you just gotta deal with it. But yeah, let me know what your opinion of all the Hitman games are down in the comments below. And yeah, that's going to be us today. A bit of a shorter one than normal, to be honest. And this is my first time ever doing a Hitman game. Not a Hitman game, a tier list of a series as a live stream. As I said, I normally do it as videos, but I was saying, you know what? It's the time of year where viewership is absolutely horrendous. So, oh yeah, and Taylor, talking about if you're still watching, I'm actually going to be starting Dying Light on Friday. Going to be starting the Dying Light series on Friday because I know you wanted to see that. A bunch of other people wanted to see that. You know, I can bring this up since this is a live stream. I can bring this up. Where is yeah, so here it was. It doesn't matter, but I said it somewhere. I said it somewhere where I think I put it in the comment. I said, yeah, second place is Dying Light. It was Dying Light at the time. So we're going to be doing this on Friday. We're going to be starting the Dying Light series on Friday because that's what I said. I said we'll do this series, whatever gets second place. We'll do that next. So now we finish off the Hitman series. We'll be starting the Dying Light series on Friday. As for tomorrow's stream in particular, we're going to be starting Killzone 3. We're starting Killzone 3 on first day. Then on Friday, we'll start the Dying Light series. Then I'm going to play Dying Light. We're going to be playing Dying Light games on the hardest difficulty because I have played them before. And it's going to be just replayed through Dying Light 2. Yeah. Our Dying Light 2 is actually really, really, really good now because they've changed it. Like, I played Dying Light 2 at launch. I didn't think it was a bad game at launch, to be honest, Dying Light 2. A lot of people hated Dying Light 2 at launch, but I don't think it was that bad. But I think the problem at launch was like the nighttime in that was you didn't really get attacked. They were just normal zombies during the night. And then you had like the horrors. And that was a bit it. You didn't have the... What is the zombie type called again? It's like the... Oh, I've forgotten the name of the zombie type. It's been a while since I played Dying Light, but it's the zombie type that... the big ones. The Pharaohs or whatever they're called. I forgot the name of it. It's been a while since I played it. But we're going to be playing Dying Light 1 first, and we'll be doing Dying Light 1's DLC, the fall one. We'll be doing the fall one. Yeah, the Beast is cool as well. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the series in general. That's the plan of action. And I think after the Dying Light series, when we get towards the end of the Dying Light series, I don't know yet, so I think I'm going to be posting a community poll. Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad game at launch. I liked it at launch. A lot of people didn't like it. But I get why people didn't like it, because some of the nighttime element wasn't really a threat. So it plays different. Plays different, the second game. Still plays pretty similar to the first game, but I get to a point of view why some people didn't like it. I think the biggest problem when it comes to the Dying Light 2 story was probably the fire. That guy that got accused of stuff. What was his name? What was his name again? The guy that made like the amazing Coulter games, and the guy that made Fallout New Vegas was making Dying Light 2 story, but then he got fired because he got accused of doing a bunch of stuff, but he ended up winning a lawsuit anyway. But you could play with older generation consoles. Oh, okay. I mean, that kind of makes sense, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes... I'll be playing on PC anyway, and hopefully by the time we get to Dying Light 2, my new computer's here, so I can play it maxed out ray tracing settings, but... I mean, that would be nice, but if not, I'll just play it at max settings without ray tracing, but... Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to end it here, a bit of a shorter one than usual. I just decided to change it up and let's do a tier list as a live stream for once instead as a video. I mean, I usually do tier lists as videos, but... I mean, when I do tier lists as videos, I don't know why, but I seem to attract a bunch of people that literally have zero attention spans. Seriously, I mean really bad attention span. Like, you think people would skip to the end of the video, right? Which I sometimes do in tier lists. I will be honest, I do that in tier lists videos sometimes, but I don't like click on, like, you see a thumbnail with weird rankings you don't completely agree with, because the thumbnails might be kind of bait for a tier list. It's just the way you do thumbnail tier lists. You got to kind of do it bait so you don't spoil the tier list in a thumbnail, because it's quite simple, right? But I mean, people got so angry, like people got so mad when I did my tier list like other games. It was unbelievable. Like when I did the Elder Scrolls series and I put like Skyrim at like D tier. I didn't actually put it at D tier, but I put it at D T. That sounds really weird to say that. Yes, I will be playing the Beast. Do we know when the Beast is actually coming out? Like Dying Light the Beast, do we have a date? Nah, we don't. Nah, we don't. We don't have a date. Oops, that's console. Nah, we don't. Nah, we don't have a rate. At least on the Steam store, we don't have a rate. Oh well, that's what it is. It's a good thing about doing it live, so you can talk about other stuff. I get to talk with chat. Oh, cool. The history of Hitman last night. Fair enough. You kind of got to go into a lot of details because when it comes to the Hitman games, the games don't actually explain a lot. The games explain a decent amount in the Hitman games, but I will acknowledge, like, when it comes to the Hitman lore, there's a lot of stuff outside lore. Only PS4 Hitman games do it for me now. The old games are too clunky for me. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, some people are like that. I get that. I don't think they're that bad. I think they actually play it alright, but I can understand in a way. They have a different like art style and a different play style. Like, I will agree. Like, older games can be clunky to some people. I'm not too bad when it comes to older games because I grew up playing a bunch of older games like when I was growing up, so they don't really bother me. And to be honest, most playthroughs I do on the channel are older games regardless anyway. Like, I mean, fucking the oldest game I ever played on the channel was The Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, a 1986 game. That game was rough, but I mean, I played what's called the Unity engine. It wasn't too bad, but I mean, I can play games like that. I can play dice roll type of games, but some people can't. And if you can't play a dice roll game, if you can't play a Hitman game, you're probably gonna hate a dice roll type of game. If I'm being completely honest. Summer 2025. Okay, so it's coming in summer. We'll see about that. I think Dying Light 2 came out like in February or something like that, if I remember correctly. If anybody's just joining the stream, I've already done the ranking for all the games. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. Like, it depends on the type of series. Like, some series I think have aged really, really well. Some old games have aged really well, but there's other old games that have aged really poorly. It really just depends on the type of game, I suppose. Like as much as Call of Duty is so generic, I will say the old Call of Duty games have actually aged quite well. But there's like other series which age pretty bad. Like, but I think the original God of War games actually aged quite bad. Weirdly enough, the God of War 2005. Like, I think God of War 2 age a lot better. I don't know why. I think it's just the block animations and that's quite clunky in the first God of War game. But weirdly enough, they fixed it on the second game, in my personal opinion. Then they made it a bit too easy in God of War 3. But hey, it is what it is. But anyway, I think that's going to be us today, chat. Just a bit of a short one. Just wanted to do a tier list as a live stream. Don't really have much else to say, so that's my ranking for all the Hitman games. The reason why I didn't do this on Saturday, the reason why I decided to do the tier list today, I was considering originally to do this on Saturday and I was started Dying Light today. The reason why is because I was streaming the last couple of Saturdays before that because I was available to stream, but it was like the house was getting, let's just say dust was getting over like near the freaking living room and that shit. Guys, I got to freaking hoover that right now, man. I can't be waiting around anymore. So that's why I didn't do this on Saturday. Because I mean that's probably the day I would either like to do a tier list because Saturday's a chill day. But anyway, that's gonna be us today. I'll end it here, chat. So let me know in the description, comments below, what are your favourite Hitman games. I'm sure a bunch of people are gonna get mad as per usual whenever I make a tier list, and a bunch of people will dislike it because they'll say, "Oh, my favourite Hitman game, Hitman Absolution, is it you? How dare you?" Because you can't disagree with people with different opinions. Because that's the society we live in nowadays. But anyway.